What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak on the recent comments made by Rich Paul. That is LeBron James. I think LeBron James' agent and business partner, right? And so Rich Paul was on a podcast where he was speaking about the Miami Heat, and he said that the Miami Heat was not a super team, right? And so the reason why he was trying to make it look like the Miami Heat wasn't a super team was in order so like so he can give LeBron James some more so it looked like LeBron James get more credit for the success that they had when he was in Miami with those two championships they won down there. But in trying to say that the Heat was not a super team, he kind of like diminished uh Chris Bosh in a situation. He said that Chris Bosh took a back seat because of his high IQ, right? And so when somebody's try to, they try to say, well, all right, he was smart and he took a back seat um with his high IQ. Um, I just think that I don't get why like LeBron James camp find it necessary to play down other people's contribution and always maximize LeBron James contribution, and especially since people saw the games. Um, people know what happened. If it wasn't for that big shot that Ray Allen hit, they would have only probably won one ring down there in Miami. So you know, LeBron James and these guys, man, I think they don't do this. They do themselves a disservice when you have to diminish other people in order to really make yourself look good. And I think this is just another case of that. Just with Chris Bosh, diminishing his role. Um, Chris Bosh, if you remember, Chris Bosh came from Toronto. And so Chris and at Toronto, Chris Bosh was that dude, and so I do agree that Chris Bosh had to kind of adjust his game to play with LeBron because LeBron only know one style of play, and that's like Chris Bosh was a low post player, and LeBron couldn't get into that lane with Chris Bosh, posting up, trying to get the ball and get easy baskets. LeBron just want that middle open so he can um just bowl his way through there and get a basket. Now, I always thought that if the Miami Heat back in those days had to play inside out, they would have been more successful. But LeBron James, he couldn't adjust his game, so Chris Bosh had to adjust his game. I think Miami, I think they went 2 for 2 as far as like championships down there. You know, they lost to Dallas and they lost to the Spurs, and so I think they probably could have won. They could have won at least 3. They should have won at least 3 out of those 4 championships if LeBron James had if he had adjusted his game and be able to play inside and out and take advantage of Chris Bosh, his skills in a low post game. But LeBron couldn't do that. Everybody else had to change their game um, in order to suit LeBron. Even Dwayne Wade had to change his game in order uh, to suit LeBron. So, but all right. So they win the 2 championships, but why is it necessary for LeBron James and his crew? Like I said, what's his name? Rich Paul to go in and talk and diminish the role of everybody else in order to make LeBron James look good. And I just think that this strategy for LeBron James and his crew is going to catch up with them, and it's going to backfire. You know, you can already see like you can already see like traces of that. Like it's going on. Like this beef lately that LeBron James has had with Stephen A. Smith. You know, that beef. And certain what's the other guy who came out and made a video about LeBron James's constant lying? Like I don't know if his name Rick Bruker or something like that. Like he made, you know, he's done a couple videos or come out and said that LeBron James is just constantly lying you know, about the game. And so it's not looking good for LeBron. I think like for LeBron, less would have been more, you know, like the less they try to control the narrative, I think it would have been, you know, people would have just stood up for them. They wouldn't have had to really say too much as long as LeBron just proved himself on the court. So whatever LeBron has done on the court, you know, just let that speak for you know. But when you go around, um, you know, just talking bad about people who not even really don't even have your name in their mouth, like Chris Bosh, don't even he really don't even give interviews. You very rarely even see Chris Bosh on the interview number one. So it wasn't necessary for Rich Paul to even do that, make those comments. Then number two, who else did like the guy? What's the guy? Wimby, the reporter. Like he called this guy weird for no reason at all. You know, um, I don't know. I just think that I don't know who is their publicist, but I think that you know they're making mistakes. I never seen like a professional basketball player go at so many different people and just make enemies unnecessarily, you know, in order to try to shape the narrative when the people that they're going after to shape the narratives are not even the people who really pushing against LeBron's narrative. Like the guy Wimby, the reporter guy, he don't really say anything against LeBron, you know. Chris Bosh, like I said, don't say anything. He don't really say anything against LeBron. I like I said, I heard him say years ago that it was difficult to play with LeBron because he had to, you know, he had to adjust his style of play. But other than that, you know, you really don't have people saying too much against LeBron. And so mainly the main pushback come from fans like myself who've seen basketball. We know basketball. And so when you try to tell us that LeBron James is the GOAT and we know that that's not true, of course, you know, you're going to get some pushback. And I'm going to make another video because I think the smartest thing that Michael Jordan did, in which he never really had to do anything, but the smartest thing that Michael Jordan did is not even participate, not even participate in that GOAT debate. Don't even say anything. And by not saying anything, it kind of ties LeBron hands because that is Michael Jordan is the one player that LeBron James can't say anything negative about. You know, he well besides Kobe, you know, I would because Kobe has passed, but Mike, you know, he can't say anything negative publicly about Mike because then it would be, I think that would be like he'd catch a lot of backlash for that. And it wouldn't go over well. I don't know, you know, um, yeah, I don't think that would go over well if this guy, if LeBron was to say anything bad about Mike, because Mike just let he just let his play on the court speak for him, you know. And so with Rich Paul and LeBron and his crew going around trying to control the narrative, I just think they just digging themselves a bigger hole and they're coming up against more opposition. Um, and what else? You know, it's just I don't know, man. And only person in LeBron James' crew who was honest about the GOAT conversation was the guy, and he don't what's his name? Maverick. What's his name? Maverick Carter, right? He came out and he said that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. But you don't see Maverick Carter giving too many public statements either, you know. Ever since once Maverick said that Michael Jordan was a GOAT, I haven't seen him make any more public statements. So he probably stay away from that conversation. But people do know that he feel like Michael is the GOAT. But the rest of the LeBron James camp, and I get it. That's your guy. But to go around and throw shots at people for no reason, I just think it's a bad strategy. LeBron doing it, Rich Paul is doing it. He got some of the commentators, some of the ESPN guys are doing it, and I think it's going to backfire on him. I just think it's just going to backfire, and I don't think whoever their publicist is I don't know. These guys just reaching for they're just grasping at straws basically because nobody's buying the GOAT conversation when it comes to LeBron. Nobody's buying it, and yeah, I mean that's it. That's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe as you check out the content. And also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'll check you out in the next video.